Hi everybody. My name is Monica Chaffee and thank you for tuning into this YouTube channel. Okay, so today I want to talk about something that I've talked about a lot already, but this idea of the empath and the sensitive person, right? Um, Being an empath is a gift that many people have and are embracing these days. And you see it all over Facebook or even Pinterest, and how empaths can get into a space of connecting back to themselves and removing all the other stuff that they absorb from other people. So empaths are those who can connect to the energy of other people, people's emotions, people's physical ailments, also animals, plants, land, water, food, crystals, the energetic fields of a group of people, a collective consciousness. And there's all kinds of different empaths out there who can do some of these, all of these, or maybe just a few of them. The real struggle, the challenge for the majority of empaths is after you have become attached to a certain emotion from another person, place, or thing, how can you release it? What is the secret to releasing energy that doesn't belong to us, that we are needing to remove so that we can feel complete in our bodies? And the secret I find is grounding and releasing. So without grounding, say as an empath, say I were to hold all this energy in, say I had lunch with a friend who just kind of dumps all her stuff on me, and then I take it with me. First of all, I would just have to say right away that if somebody was dumping on me, I would, afterwards, I'd say, I know that that was a lot and you're going through a lot right now, but like, let's turn around and see like what you can do moving forward. Okay, so there's a difference between venting your circumstances and then dumping on someone. Dumping refers to like really an exhaustive way of communicating. It's kind of like going over, rehashing over and over and over again without even wanting any kind of solution. They just like the idea of talking about it, and they might do that to not just you, but then the next person and the next person they see, and then the person at Walgreens, and then the person at Whole Foods, and like everybody gets their stuff. Okay, so anyways, those people, if you have a friend like that, it's good to kind of like stop it and just be like, oh, hey, recognize what they're doing, and then you can release that energy. So that's the challenge, is when you encounter people like this, and then you might have some people like this in your family, people that you work with that you can't avoid. And these are the circumstances that are a challenge, is because we see these people every single day. So how can we maintain our personal boundaries while also having to communicate with these people? So first of all is always know that whatever you hold on, right, whatever you take on from another person, you can release quickly out of your body through intentional breathing, through intentional release, but it has to be intentional. Okay, so you take a deep breath in and you release it out, and you do that a few times with each exhale, intending for it to release all emotions that do not belong to you. And it's really important that you understand that there's going to be so much that comes into you from the social media, from the internet, from the television, from the radio, that you might, from a podcast even, that you might listen to and then become ultra connected with. A good example of this is maybe a podcast that you're listening to right now. I've been listening to this podcast called Serial, and it goes through like a particular, each season goes through like a particular story. So the first season, I became very attached to that story, and like binge listened to like this whole thing very quickly. And so for an empath, you have to be very mindful of that when you start to do that, because then you do start to be like almost like attached or dependent upon that source for some reason, whatever you need from that at that particular time. So again, the importance is to be able to intentionally release the energy that doesn't belong to you so that you can gain your own power back, empower yourself. This is going to happen many times throughout the day with many different people through many different circumstances over and over again. You might walk into, this actually happened to me, walk into a pet store and notice a lot of cats who are up for adoption, and you might start to feel the emotions of those cats, okay? So before you go and buy or, adopt 8 cats, step away from it, notice the situation, what it is that's really affecting you, and see if you can release it and send love and light to those animals and then back to yourself. It's really like this paying attention to how you're feeling and how you react to certain situations. So if you go into a situation where there's animals and you feel really like overwhelmed with some powerful emotion like sadness or whatever it is, knowing where it comes from, why it's happening, and then you being able to step away. And maybe you too adopt a cat. That's totally up to you. And I'm like totally wanting to adopt one right now. But knowing full well that I cannot because I already have a cat. So the other thing that comes up over and over again is just watching television, watching the news. And the news can wreak havoc on the empath mind. Because it's all bad news. It's terrible. It's so depressing. So turn off the news or be very selective of what you want to hear. So I might take maybe 5 minutes of watching the news and then I turn it off and give myself a break. All right. And then I'll go to maybe news on my phone, read a few articles, and then take a break. But I don't go through long periods of time, like hours and hours of watching something that I know is not going to be beneficial for my psyche. So the grounding, intentional breath, knowing where it comes from, being able to release it, sending love and light to them and to you, blessing them, blessing you, calling upon our team of people. When I say team, I'm referring to your guardian angels, your guides, your ancestors, any beings that you call forward to help protect you. So that you can better distinguish what's yours and what somebody else's. And also that can serve as a protection, a sort of protection or a part of a field. We can get into different protection techniques on a different video. But right now, I just want to address what it means to be an empath, what it means to have all this huge emotions come forward, different times, all the time. So the other instances, you might go to a farm, and this empaths take all the good and all the bad. So maybe you go out to a farm and you're like super energized and revitalized by the energy of an organic farm, or just a place where maybe an apple orchards or anything where the energy is super good and abundant. Know that those are the spots that you want to keep going back to recharge yourself, to replenish, and to restore. So that was a lot of information about empath abilities. There's so many different types of empaths out there, and they can often be confused with psychic powers, abilities, whatever you want to say. A lot of psychics or intuitives are empaths, but not all empaths are psychics. A lot of people might also confuse being clairsentient with being an empath. So clairsentience is being able to feel other people's emotions. However, the clairsentient people, after they maybe read someone's emotions, they're able to easily release it. Empaths have a harder time because it's almost as if it takes on part of the energy of your body. It kind of goes into like the energy field deep down within. So knowing about chakras is really beneficial. If you don't know anything about chakras, I can always go into some chakra details in a different video. Knowing about your chakras though is so helpful, because then you start to realize, okay, where is this energy stuck? What does that mean? And how can I release it? What is a lesson from it? Depending on which chakra point it is attached to. So there's so much to say about it. There's so much to learn about it. And in fact, I learn more and more every day, because there's different energy that comes my way in any given moment. And so I am always learning new ways to ground, new ways to replenish, and new ways to restore. And please, I would love for you to share your own personal stories of how being an empath has affected you, what you do now to ground yourself, and how you restore or whatever self-care is in your repertoire. All right, thank you so much for joining me, and I will be doing this again very soon. All right, bye.